The Bad Batch. A group of highly modified and very well, highly trained clones, ready for anything to come back their way. You got Wrecker, the Brute. You got Hunter, the leader. You got Tech, the tech guy. And don't forget, you got Echo, and you also had, of course, the sniper, Crosshair. This was a really interesting team, a really interesting arc from the Clone Wars TV show, Season 7. And they decided to give us a TV show about the Bad Batch. And was it good? Was it bad? That is up to the viewer to decide. But in my opinion, and again, this is very much so an opinion, I did not personally prefer the Bad Batch. Hello guys and welcome back to Don's Little Hobbies, and in today's video, I am going to talk about what I would do if I was indeed going to be reworking the Bad Batch. What would I do? What would I change? How would I modify it to make a better show? A better story, in my opinion. So, that is what we are going to talk about in today's video. Now, I really did enjoy some of the episodes in Bad Batch. Some of the episodes in Bad Batch were great, were absolutely fantastic. And you know what? If those episodes were just a little bit more fleshed out, I think it would make a much better, cohesive story. Instead, one of the biggest problems I have with the Bad Batch is the fact that they didn't do arcs. Like, here's the thing. This is coming from Dave Filoni. I really do think they need to learn. Dave Filoni needs to learn from his past both mistakes as well as accomplishments. Okay, so I'm in here, and you know what? I didn't make this clear enough in this video, I feel like. So I feel like just popping in here and saying this. Guys, I love Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni made the Clone Wars. I absolutely love the guy. I want him on I'm not even kidding, I want him on every single Star Wars project. Just about everything he touches literally turns to gold. This guy knows Star Wars more than anyone else to me. He worked directly under none other than George Lucas. He's George Lucas's Padawan turned Jedi. He is the best at his job. And I just feel like with the Bad Batch, he just let the ball down. I don't know. He was probably maybe focusing too much on future projects like The Mandalorian, probably working with Jon Favreau on that, and the Boba Fett show and stuff like that. I just feel like he didn't pay enough attention to the Bad Batch. I really feel like he dropped the ball, but that is more so my own opinion on it. Let me know your thoughts about that. However, Dave Filoni, he's my hero. The Clone Wars is amazing, but how did it start getting amazing? To me, I think the Clone Wars was pretty good in the beginning, but it started getting really good when they started putting out basically mini movies. That's what the Clone Wars did. The Clone Wars had very many 2 to 4 episode arcs that worked so well, and I would really enjoy it if they did arcs. And then you have Star Wars Rebels. Star Wars Rebels did arcs as well, and that's when the show was starting to get hyped. So it's just I know they had the Mandalorian, and the Mandalorian, almost all of the Mandalorian had basically one-off episodes that really told the story, and maybe that's what the plan was for the Bad Batch. However, just to me, I really feel like they should have just dived more into some of certain moments that happen in certain episodes and fleshed them out more. That would have made this a much better viewing experience to me. In other words, yes, mini movies or arcs throughout Bad Batch. I think that's the way they should have gone. I think their biggest mistake, to me personally, was the fact that they decided not to do arcs. Okay, so I wrote a lot here. I have a lot of ideas on how to rewrite the Bad Batch and make it better. However, if I read the entire page, I would probably end up making this like a 3, 4, 5 part video. I don't want to do that. I want to get this entire thing into one video, so I'm just going to try to sum up what I wrote here to you guys, so and get you guys' feedback. Hopefully you will pause the video and read it for yourselves, and hopefully you will enjoy my thoughts and ideas, because I go into great detail of what I would do with like Omega. I would have her less with Hunter and more with the entire group. I would have more screen time for Echo. I would give Echo some character. I would give Wrecker some more time. I would focus more on probably Wrecker's microchip problem. Yeah, I go into great detail within what I wrote here, so hopefully you guys pause the video and read it for yourselves. I hope you guys do like at least my basic ideas of what I would do if I was going to change anything about the Bad Batch. But let's go ahead and try my best to sum it all up into one video, shall we? So another problem that I have with the show itself is actually, and I hate to say it, but the character Omega. Now, I wouldn't want to get rid of the character Omega, because she does play a important role in terms of the story of Bad Batch, I feel. But at the same time, I think there are ways you could improve her, and one major one is a little less annoying. Like, she was really, really annoying. You think Ahsoka Tano was bad, and by the way, when I was a kid, I was the perfect age when I saw the Clone Wars. Ahsoka Tano was literally like made for me. I love Ahsoka Tano. For God's sakes, check this out. I wouldn't have this. I wouldn't have this if I didn't love Ahsoka Tano. You think Ahsoka Tano was annoying? She was nothing compared to Omega. Omega was highly, super annoying in the beginning of the show, and I think there's a way you could really improve that character, which we'll talk about. And then lastly, another thing that really bothers me about when it comes to Bad Batch is just this. When it comes to none other than Star Wars The Clone Wars, the most important thing that they actually made very clear is that one, every single clone was an individual, and that they all looked at each other as brothers. I really don't feel that in Bad Batch. There needs to be a little bit more of a brotherly relationship. I need to see more brother, and I also need to see more even footage among the characters. Like, really, I think we focus on Hunter and Omega too much. I want a little bit more of Tech, and I want a little bit more of Echo as well, especially because out of all of these clones, the one that we have the most connection to actually is not Hunter, but Echo. And Echo is sidelined so much throughout this show that I really think that there's a way you could use him a whole lot better, and it would make the show a lot more interesting. Which, again, we'll talk about. Now, the biggest thing that I will have to say when it comes to this entire show that really disappoints me is that you decide to do this, okay? You decide to do this, and you decided to do this over like something like a Darth Vader show or a Boba Fett show or something in the animated series. You decide to do the Bad Batch, okay? But then you just toss in filler after not interesting plot lines after not interesting plot lines again and again and again. Just no. You know what? The worst episode to me was the Rancor episode. I hate that one moment because, simply put, what happens to that Rancor when it dies? It dies at the hand of Luke Skywalker. So you just made my buddy Luke Skywalker, my hero Luke Skywalker, look like a bad guy because you made us connect to the Rancor. Now whenever someone watches that episode and connects to that Rancor, they're going to cry when it dies at the hand of Luke Skywalker, and they're never going to like Luke. Why, Dave Filoni, did you decide to do that? You know? That's one major thing that's going to be tossed out in this 100%. Alright, now that we just got all of my thoughts out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about what I would do if I was going to rewrite the Bad Batch. Alrighty. So this is what I would do. Episode 1 is almost perfect. I love the way it turned out, except 2. Omega. First off, make her a bit older. She should be older than Boba Fett, for reasons I'll get into a little later on. 3. She should be less childlike and more grumpy teen-like. Like, I don't know why, but that's how I feel like Omega should be. A little bit more like, well, her brother, which we'll get into later on. A little bit more grumpy teen that doesn't trust anyone. Okay, she doesn't really trust anyone. She only trusts the Bad Batch, and she trusts the lady that took care of her. But her being so trusting and so outgoing and so like she's just, it makes her almost seem like a one-dimensional character because she's just a good because she's a good character. Like she's just good because she's good. That doesn't really work for me. She knows the Bad Batch and tries to help him. She knows the Bad Batch, she tries to help him, she is connected to the Bad Batch, she only trusts the Bad Batch. Don't let her trust anyone else. Okay, number 4. Give her a better voice actor. Look, I'm sorry, no offense to the voice actor. I think the voice actor did a fine job later on in the series. When I say give her a better voice actor, I don't mean replace the voice actor. I mean, stop giving her this very high-pitched, annoying voice that sounds like a tiny little girl. She sounds like she's supposed to be 10 years old, and she sounds 5. It's so annoying. And I honestly think she shouldn't be like a 10-year-old girl. She should be around, like, because this is after the Clone Wars, after everything that's happened to Boba, she should be around the age 14, 15 years old. She should be a grumpy teen. Don't give her that annoying, high-pitched little girl voice. Everyone's going to hate it. I can't stand it in the beginning, in the very first few episodes. It's why I couldn't get into the show originally, because of Omega's voice. Don't give her the high-pitched voice. I know what you're gonna say, but Ahsoka Tano wasn't. No, she was not. Ahsoka Tano, and I'm sorry, Ahsoka Tano had a sweet little girl voice, not a high-pitched voice. I can't stand Omega's high-pitched voice in the very beginning. Don't give her that. Okay, 5. When they ask her what her defect is, she should say, "Isn't it obvious? I was the first clone ever made of Jango Fett." Yes, I think she should have been the first clone of ever made of Jango Fett, but her defects would have been that she was a girl, Jango wanted a boy, so she stayed behind. But he wanted a boy, so I'm a failed experiment. Yes, and call her a failed experiment, because here's the thing. What if there are more failed experiments when it comes to clones? What if there are actually more Generation 1 failed experiments before we met Boba Fett? I think that could be interesting, and I think Omega could be the start to that. We should know this from day 1 in Episode 1. That's the big. We should know this from day 1 in Episode 1. I'm sorry. Because this whole mystery that they're playing with her. Oh, does she have the Force? You know, and like, why is she a female clone? Blah, blah, blah. No. Well, what's her story? Oh my god, guess what? She is a Generation 1 clone. Like, no. Tell us from the very beginning what you plan to do with this character. Because that really made me turn off from this character. As you can see, I am not an Omega fan. I liked her by the end of the show, but they really could have made her a very interesting, better character, and they just didn't. Okay. Number 6. From the first episode, we have 15. We have 16 episodes. Yeah, 15. That was great. We can do 5 3-episode arcs to me. Those arcs would be 1. Finding a place to lay low. 2. The hunt is on. 3. The chip takes over. 4. Omega gets captured. And 5. Kamino falls. Okay, so basically the first episode, leave as is. But episode 2, 1. Finding a place to lay low. Okay, so episode 2. They need somewhere to get away from the Empire, and Hunter thinks he knows a guy. Only problem is he's been recorded dead for a past few weeks. If he is still alive, he'll answer to this one signal, which is a special distress beacon. Typically, it would be them to use it, but instead it would be the Bad Batch, and yes, it would be Rex. It would be Rex. I would bring in Rex, and yes, they kind of did this, but I would just bring in Rex in a different light. Rex knows of one because he is also staying. He sends them the coordinates. Yes, so they're trying to find a place to lay low. Rex would know where he's laying low, and Rex tells him to meet him there. Of course, it would be the farmer, you know? I do like that. I do like the fact that we went to that farmer. Another thing that we would have is we would have Ahsoka Tano. Like, I feel like what happened to Ahsoka Tano during all of this? Where'd she go? You know? I feel like what would actually be great is if Ahsoka Tano actually got a chance to meet Omega. They talk, they discuss, and then after that, they sense something. They sense the Empire coming after them. Ahsoka Tano leaves, but not with Rex. She tells them they have to separate, and she goes her separate ways. And Rex would go with the Bad Batch for a little bit. They would go find Sid, and then Sid would, of course, because Rex would recognize Sid right away. I don't like that whole episode the first time they met Sid with that stupid Rancor. I thought that was so stupid. But yeah, they would eventually find Sid, and Sid would have a mission for them. They would go on that mission and, make some money, probably have some problems with Crosshair. Crosshair would be a lot more of an important role in this, I feel. That's just me. Okay? That's just me. And I'm actually going to end the video here because there's a lot more I would like to talk about, a lot more I would get into within the next couple of arcs. So this is going to be probably a 2-part video. Let me know your thoughts about anything I said down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and I am out for now.